Welcome back, everybody. This is another live update for you right from the first day of the Golden Rod Feeder final here at Larford Lakes. The fishing is much slower than what we expected. However, that is meaning that it's going to be an incredibly tight competition as always. It means that one fish is going to make a huge difference. I'm up at the top end of Match Lake now. Now, if you want to have a catch up, we're at the halfway stage of the match now. We're 2.5 hours in. If you want to have a catch up on what's happened so far, then my previous live streams are below this one. They are streams that are showing you progress through the competition before the match, the draw, where people have drawn, and how the competition has gone so far. So we are now at the halfway stage. To basically let you know what's happening over on Spessy Lake, that's where we were on the last stream over on Facebook. Basically, it's fishing hard, it's fishing quite difficult. There aren't many carp being caught over there. However, there's quite a few skimmers being caught. Now, a lot of those are being caught by accident. They're being caught by people who are actually fishing for carp. But because it's fishing so hard, they are very, very welcome. And some of those fish, they're not all skimmers. Some of them are bonus bream up to £3. Now, no one's really putting a huge weight of those together that we know of. We haven't really been down the middle part of the Bur over in the Spessy Lake, but we've heard it's fishing hard there as well. But basically, down at the bottom end, end peg 34, which is the end peg right down on the Chalet bank, there's been a carp caught there, at least one carp. Next angler is caught a carp, and then from him, right the way up, coming back up to this corner here, that we haven't heard of another carp caught. There's just odd skimmers. Darren Cox, the last time we spoke to him, he had 7 or 8 skimmers. Next to him was Phil Ringer. On his left, he did a couple of skimmers. I don't think some of those anglers are going to go for skimmers. They'll probably just keep going for carp. You know, it is called Spessy Lake for a reason, and that's because, you know, there are so many big carp in there that, you know, you could quite easily get a 25 pounder in there, you know, and that's obviously going to cancel out any sort of skimmer weights. So it is fishing hard. However, when you get to this top end, over there on the end peg, peg 18, is David Wood. Now that's the peg that won the match yesterday, where Nick Speed was. He's putting a few fish together. Last time we heard he'd about 5 or 6 F1s. We think he had 6 skimmers and a small carp. We think he's caught some fish since then. We think it may have slowed down because he has changed where he's fishing. He's changed to a different line, so we think it may have slowed down. But whilst that isn't a runaway weight or a runaway catch, it is doing a lot better than the anglers in the rest of his section. Okay, so that's just a little bit of an update over on Spessy Lake. However, now I'm over on Match Lake, and we've seen a little bit of action on this lake. Even though it is fishing hard, we have seen a few fish caught recently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a walk down the grass bank, just to give you an idea of who's pegged where, and just let you know what has actually been caught. Now, if I just flick the camera around for you, that is looking straight down from the top end. So down there, that's where you come into the fishery, that's where the lodge is and the cafe, and up here, this is where the lodges are. And then there is Arena Lake, which isn't being used. All right, so that's just letting you know where we are. The sun's come back out again, which is good. Now, the angler that we think that's doing the best, I mean, you can see how close in anglers are actually feeding so close to this bank, you know, into that shallow water. That's Mario. He is on the end peg. That's peg 17. That peg actually won this lake yesterday. That was where Adam Wakeling was. So it has got recent form, obviously, but he hasn't caught that much today from what we know. The angler that's caught the most is here. This is peg 18 today. This is Steve Brindley. He's got at least £35. I think he's got £40 now minimum. That's that we know of. We think he's winning this top section. We don't know if he's winning the lake, but like I say, this is it's a competition that's based on section points. So it's not about winning the lake, it's about winning your section. And this section, like we've talked about, has got 4 end pegs. Just if I can get in the right position, I'll be able to show you what I mean by that. So basically, there's 5 anglers fishing against each other. 5 on one bank, 5 on the other. I think it's 5. There are a couple of 11 peg sections, but that's just the way it's fallen with an odd number. So if I come and stand here, what you basically got is you've got the anglers here are competing against the anglers on this bank. But on this section, and this is the only section that's like it, it's got 4 end pegs. So the angler at that end of the section isn't on an end peg, because those pegs go right the way down. This is peg 17, it runs right the way down to peg 1, so there aren't any gaps there, so that isn't an end peg. But where Mario is here on 17, that's an end peg, as you can see. Then you've got the bowl here going right the way around to where Steve is, that's peg 18, that's an end peg. And then there's only one angler to his right, so that's an end peg. And then the angler there at the other side of the gap is another end peg. So that's why particularly this section can be wide open, you know. And as you can imagine, as fish move around, one area can be better, or can get better throughout the day. So this top section, let's have a walk down this bank for you. That's Steve. We think he's winning that with 40 pound. That could be the top weight on the bank, we don't know. Sorry, on the lake, we don't actually know, but I'll be able to fill you in on what's happening as we work our way down this grass bank. As I work my way around, if you are enjoying these live streams, please keep giving them a thumbs up, because that's what tells me that you want to see more of them, not only today but for all our future events going through the rest of the year. I've never really streamed like this before on this channel, so it's just my way of sharing these experiences with you that follow this channel, and for those that aren't on Facebook, because that's where most of the live streams take place for all the matches that we compete in. So obviously that'll let me know if you do want to see them right here on YouTube. So that is Mario, he's on the end peg. Like I say, it's been a bit of a slow start, but any end peg can get better. And that wind is off our back here. This is Dale Haywood, he's just hooked one. This is peg 16. We haven't seen Dale catch that many. It's looking like it could be a skimmer, this one. Let's see if he lands this one. The wind's up, he's lost that one. It's come off. The wind is off the back here, as you can see, and it's like 3 or 4 degrees warmer up here than what it is down at the bottom end where the wind's hitting it. Next angler down here, this is Rob Cooksey, peg 15. These next two pegs are actually on the middle of the island, as you can see. Let's just see where Dale, because Dale's got a few options on that peg. He can cast to the back of the island, short of it, down the middle. He's obviously got a long pole line, a 5-6 metre line, and then he's obviously got margins either side. So just about every fish we've seen caught, I think, has been caught on a method feeder. I haven't seen anybody fishing a cage. There might be one or two doing that over on Spessy Lake, where there are more bream and skimmers, but not on this lake. Oh, he's casting out. See if he's gone to the back of the island. He has. Not the back of it, but to like the front closest tip. Oh, we've got another fish here. Maybe we've brought him luck. Peg 15, this is Rob Cooksey. Like I say, he can't chuck to the ends of any island. He can only cast to the front of it. Same as Mick Owen on his left. Let's just see if he lands this one. Let's see what it is. Like I said, these lads are these are in this end section. They're competing up against Steve over there, and Vic, who I'm going to show you in a moment. Vic down to the left, he was admitting to 35 pounds, so he's not far away at all. Oh, I thought it could have been a big skimmer that when he first hooked it, but it's obviously not. It looks like it's an F1. Lovely. Oh, does that come off? Oh, the hook pulled out. The hook pulled out right as he netted it. That's good, it's gone in the net. So the next angler down here is Mick Owen, peg 14. I don't see Mick catch that much, but that sun makes a right difference down here where there's no wind hitting us. Now the next angler along is one who's definitely contending for the section. This is peg 13, this is Vic Molyneux. He was admitted to 35 pound, so he's right in the mix for this section. The only peg we're not too sure about is that peg there. I'm not sure what's been caught over there, but we'll try and find out. So Vic's definitely in there with about 35 pound. Next one along is Nigel Jeffrey, peg 12. And as we start working our way down here, we might find that wind's hitting it a little bit more. But this middle section was fishing rock hard, really hard. I think Andy Kinder had only probably 6 skimmers, something like that. This is Andy Kinder, the next one. This is peg 11. Really hard here, even opposite, you know. Even though opposite is slightly deeper, closer in, doesn't seem to be fishing that much better. Next peg along is peg 10. This is Les Marshall. Looks like he's about to feed or set a line up. He's got a feeding feeder on, I think. Or was he just taking it off? Yeah, he's just setting up a short line, as you can see. Very common tactic on here, works really well all throughout the year. You can catch as close as that in winter sometimes, but I mean when it's really cold you've got to go a little bit further out. Next one along is Phil Canning. This is peg 9. He was really struggling even as a stage fishing for silvers at one stage. That's how bad it's been. Looks like he's possibly gone back to carp fishing now on F1s. And the next one along here is Stefan. This is peg 8, Stefan Pal. Not really seen Stefan catch much, but even down this bottom end we haven't seen that much caught on this bank. There's no angler on peg 7. That's why there's a gap here, in case you're wondering. It's not a pegging error. So the next angler then is Dave Smith, peg 6. And it's not really fished well down here, to be fair. It's just been odd skimmers. I think there was definitely one angler who had a couple of carp earlier on, but we haven't really seen him catch much since then. And then we get down here. This is Martin, who's just casting in now, Martin Carpenter. He's the one, again, he's fishing short. He was one angler who we saw catch 2 carp early on. We think it's gone a bit quiet since then. Next one is peg 4. This is Jason Cawthorne. He's now in his t-shirt now, it's that warm. Who are you hissing at? Oh, okay then, I'll keep going. And then peg 3, we've got Carl Barnfield. It's so much warmer down here, it's unbelievable how there's a difference in temperature. So that's Carl Barnfield. Peg 2 is Simon Parker, fishing really close to the margin there. And then down on peg 1 is Eddie Bryden. Eddie's down there. He was on one of the pegs that people fancied today, but it's just one of those pegs. They're either there or they're not. It can be very snaggy, but we know he's got at least 1 carp, maybe 2, or an F1 and some skimmers and stuff, but he has struggled. But the peg that's been a really standout peg is the one opposite today, over there. Oh, and he's playing a fish now. That is the MPEG 34, and he must have, we don't really know what weight he's got. That's Myrtle Sanders, and he must have got £40 plus easy. In fact, he's got more than that, we know he has. But like I say, you know, it's not all about the lake win, it's about section points. These lads behind have been watching, keeping track of what he's been catching, but he's by far the best. He must have got more than £40 now, easy. We know one of his fish is a very, very big fish. And that's a peg where he's obviously, I assume he's just dropping the feeder down to his right, down that margin. Has he got it? He's got it. Yeah, so I don't think there's any doubt about who's winning this bottom section. But the middle section, because they are fishing so difficult, you know, even over on the Burr, just one fish is going to be mega, you know, 1 carp, absolutely mega. It's alright, some of the lads having 6 or 7 skimmers. Some of the skimmers, they're only 8 ounce, 10 ounce fish. It's not going to take, you know, many carp or many F1s to cancel that out. So we are into the second half now. We do expect it getting better, just like it always does, even when it's hard. It might not get fantastic, but we usually see an improvement on here in those latter stages, the last 90 minutes, hour or so. So I will be updating you again here on YouTube on this channel. So I'm hoping you're enjoying the streams. If you are, please keep giving them thumbs up, because when I do get a chance to sit down and have a look at the videos, statistics, and you know, the kind of things that you do want to watch, then obviously that's one of the key things that I'll look at. So I will do more of them. But yeah, it's staying dry for now, which is good. It's a very difficult match for some people, but you know, on a venue like this, one bite can change everything. So thank you for following us so far. There will be another update before the end of the match, and I will put that right here on this channel for you. And if you are on Facebook, just head on over to the Golden Reel Angling Facebook page for more frequent updates on that page. So thanks for logging on, everybody. It really makes a difference. And I'll check in with you before the end of the match. And whatever happens, I will let you know how the match has actually gone afterwards as well, just so you know that who the leaders are and things going into tomorrow. This is a 2-day event, so everything you're seeing right here today is going to be repeated again tomorrow. But obviously tomorrow will be different, because you'll know who the leaders are and we'll have a good idea of who to watch. But at the minute, which is probably good for the competition, it's wide open. So I'll check in with you before the end of the match. So thanks everybody, and I'll see you again in a little while.